Hi, welcome to this step-by-step tutorial. In this tutorial we'll create a procedural silo inspired by iconic series Silo. If you enjoy tutorials about Houdini and want to learn more about procedural modeling, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Ready to start? Let's jump into Houdini and bring this procedural silo to life. We'll begin our procedural silo by using the spiral node. This spiral will act as the foundation for our steps, allowing us to easily build a procedural staircase that's fully adjustable and ready to customize. Let's move to the spiral node, and for the height we'll set 10. Here we'll set the 5. Now we'll adjust the radius for start and the end. Let's change the radius mode. Now for the start radius we'll set 1. Now we have the same radius at the start and the end. Next, let's add the null node and we'll rename to general shape. Next, we will add the copied points and line node. Let's connect. For the line, we'll change the direction. Here -1, here 0, length 1.2. Next, let's add the orient attribute. We'll activate from spiral node. And we'll change the divisions 44. Next, let's add the normals to these lines. We'll add the poly frame. Here we add the normals and deactivate the normal name. Now we have the normals on these points to copy on each line another 2 lines in this direction. So from these lines we will create a polygon, and next we will create a step for our stairs. So let's add the for each primitive, and we'll connect here. Now we will add copy to points, and we'll connect to for each begin. Let's create a copy, and here we'll set target point to 0. Here target point 1. Let's add a line. So this line we need to copy in this direction. For that we'll change the line direction. And length 0.15. Let's duplicate this line and we'll connect here. For this line we'll set the length to 0.32. Next, let's add the merge node, and we'll merge this and this. Now we have multiple points in same place, so let's add the fuse node. Next we'll add the polyfill, Now from this polygon we will create a step. Let's add the poly extrude. Distance will set to 0.07. Next, let's add the poly bevel. For division, we'll add 5 and the distance 0.01. 0.01. Now we'll connect poly bevel to for each end. And these lines allow us to change the scale of the steps. This side and this side. Okay. Now we will add the null node. Let's rename to the stairs. Let's add the circle node. So we'll start with orientation. We'll change the orientation. Center 1.4. Rotate minus 46.6. For the uniform scale 4.72. Divisions 3. Next, let's add the transform node. And for y-axis we'll set 2.54 to 1. Let's duplicate the transform node, and here we'll add 5.175. Next, let's add the merge node, and we connect the transform nodes and circle. Next, let's add the null node, and we'll rename to the bridge start. Let's add the line node. We will change the direction. Here 1, here 0. Next, let's add the box node. For the box, we will change the size. So here 4.182. Here let's add 0.1329. And here 1.3. Next, let's add the match size node. And the first input will connect the line node, and the second input will connect the box node. So for y-axis we'll set maximum, and for z-axis we'll set the minimum and scale to fit. So we have this. Now let's duplicate the match size node, and for z-axis we'll set the maximum. Now let's add the merge node, and we'll merge the match size, box, and again match size. Now we need to group the lines, to create a group for only lines. So let's add the group node. Let's rename to line 1, and for second line 2. Next, we'll go to spiral node, and we'll create the reference copy. From this spiral node will move here, and let's add the curve node. For spiral node, deactivate height ramp, will select delete channels. Next, let's add the curve node and deactivate first U, and we'll activate second U, and here let's add the 0.0879. Next, we'll add the sort node, so we will reverse the numbers of the points, because next we'll copy this box on the point with number 0. So let's add sort, point sort, reverse. Next, let's add the copied points. Target point 0. Let's connect the source points and our box with lines, and we copy this. Next, let's add the match size node. Here to the box, and for X we'll set maximum and Z minimum. So here let's add the 0.787, here minus 0.245. Let's add a transform node and we'll rotate. So here we'll add 19.39. Here let's add 33.581, and here 10.5. Next, let's add the split node. And we'll select line 1. Let's add the curve node. And we'll add here 0.488. And for second U, we'll add 0.679. Here let's add a null node and we'll rename to the line 1. For the second output from the split node, let's add the delete, and we will delete the box. So we'll select line 1, delete non-selected, and we copy the curve node here. So we have two lanes, same size. So let's copy line 2. Let's save. Let's add object merge node. Now we will create an exterior spiral. So here in object 1, let's drag and drop general shape, and after object merge we will add the transform node, and we will scale our line. So scale 2.12, copy, and same for Z axis. Let's add a null node and we'll rename to the exterior spiral. Now let's create a outer stringer. So from here, from curve, let's create a reference copy. Next, let's add another curve node, and for first view we'll set the 0.916 and keep outside. Let's add poly extrude node. Now we will start to create the outer stringer. We'll activate the extrude transform extrude front and we'll set transform space to global. Let's add here translate to minus 0.29. Next, let's add reverse node. And we reverse the faces. Next, again poly extrude node. Now for the distance we'll set 0.073 and we'll deactivate output side. Again reverse and another poly extrude node. Here we'll set the distance to 0.6 and we'll activate the output back, and we'll activate also the group back and side group. Now we will add the group promote. Group name extrude back, and we'll promote to the edges, and we'll activate the include only elements on the boundary. So we have this. Next we will group this side, so let's add the group node and we'll activate the keep by normals. Here -1 and spread angle 88 and here 0. Let's add group promote again, and we will promote this group. Let's select group 3, we'll select edges and include only boundary elements. Now let's add the group combine. So group name extrude back. Here we'll select group 5, group 3 intersection with extrude back. So now we have grouped only this line. Next let's add the poly bevel. And let's select the extrude back group 0.221 divisions 5. So we have this now. Let's return to the curve node and we'll add from here a poly extrude transform extruded front. We'll activate the global transform space, and for the translate 0.42. Next let's add the poly extrude. Let's activate the output back, and for the distance we'll add the 0.073. Next let's add the group node. And we'll create a group for bevel node. So let's keep by normals activate. Here we'll add 0, here 1 and here 44. Next let's add the poly bevel. And we'll select the group 4, distance 0.014, divisions 3, and let's activate the ignore flat edges. Next, let's add the merge node and we will combine these results. Let's check with the stairs. Now let's add the null node and we will rename to the outer stringer start. Let's add a merge node, and for preview we'll combine stairs and outer stringer start. Okay, let's change the length of the stairs. Let's create next handrail for our outer stringer. So we will return to the carve node. So here let's add the group by range. So here we select points, start will be 1 and select one of 4 points. So we have this. Next, let's add the copy to points. Let's move this here. Okay. So let's add the copy to points. Connect here. Let's select target points group 1 and we'll add a line. On these points we'll copy a line. So for this line let's set the length 0.13 and the direction -1. Let's deactivate transform using target point orientation. Next, let's add the merge node. And we'll merge curve with our copy to points node. Okay. Next we'll add a fuse node. Polywire. And for polywire wire radius we'll set to 0.18. Now we will return again to the carve node. So from here let's add the poly extrude and let's activate the transform extruded front global, and for the translate we'll set 0.068. Again let's add the poly extrude node. For the distance we'll set the -0.03 and we will activate the output back parameter. Next let's add the reverse and let's merge this polywire with reverse. Okay, next let's add null. first with null, and let's rename to the handrail start. Now we need to change the location. So for this part of the handrail, let's add the transform node, and here let's add 0.48. We'll copy this transform node. For second part, let's lower a bit. Zero 0.3. Let's merge here for preview. So we have this now. Let's save. Let's move next. From carve node, here we'll add another carve node. Okay, for first you will set 0.916. Now we will group the last point. So for this we'll add group expression. Let's group type select points. We'll add the next expression, vertex prim index, zero, vertex number, here number of points, 0 minus 1. Vertex prim index. Next, so we have the last point grouped. Next, we'll create another group from the line 1. Let's add the group node. We'll select the points, and here we'll add 1. Now we'll combine these two lines. So let's add merge node. Next, add node. Here we'll select by group, and we'll select the group 1. Let's rename group 5 to group 1, and we have these two lines connected. Next, let's add the resample node. Length, let's select to this value. Let's move with fuse node. And smooth. Strength 50. Let's add null node, and we'll rename to turn right. Okay. Let's do the same for the turn left. So let's add the curve node. For the first view we'll set 0.1329. Again, let's add curve node and we will set the end. Let's deactivate first two, we'll activate the second view, 0.93. And we'll activate keep outside. And the same here. Okay, so here we activate keep outside and deactivate keep inside. Same in second curve node. Next we will copy this part and connect here. Group node will connect to line number 2. So for the right turn, let's copy this part and let's connect here. And now we will watch what we have here. Let's delete this null node. Same for left turn, connect here these nodes. And same for handrail. Let's copy all handrails node and we will paste here. One handrail here and second. Let's move here. Okay. Here let's add the null node and we'll rename to outer stringer turn right, and here outer stringer turn left. Let's fix here, we need this. Let's fix the problems here. Here we will here we need to group point 0 but not last point of line, so let's delete this part and here we will add 0. So now let's check our stair. It's okay, this part also it's okay. So outer stringer turn left, okay, let's connect here. Now let's merge all these parts for preview. We will check. It's okay. We can adjust this part from the curve node. So we moved from here, we moved the input to the curve node. For the handrail, let's polywire, let's set the divisions to 10. And here and here same 10. Okay. Now let's delete this and these parts, and we'll have just outer stringer parts. So here let's add color node. Now we will cover this hole from the reverse node. We need to add poly extrude. So let's add the poly extrude. Distance we will set to 0.6. Output side will deactivate. And again we'll add the poly extrude. Distance 0.5. And we activate the output back and connect here to the merge node. Let's copy this and we'll paste here to the reverse and we'll connect here. Now let's see the result. Here to the merge node let's add the boolean. And we'll set to union to delete all faces which intersect geometry. So now we have one piece of geometry. Now we will start with the object merge. So let's add object merge. And here we'll add the line 1. In the second object merge line 2. And we'll move this here. Okay, we leave some space for another nodes. So let's add the polyframe node. To add the normals to this line. So here let's add normals. Same for second line. Next let's add copy to points. And we'll copy to point 0 and to point 0 here. We'll copy another line here and here. Now let's set the length of the line 15.4 and direction here 1 and here 0. So we added these lines here. Next let's add the merge node. Let's create the level lamps, and we will start with circle node. Let's change the orientation. Rotate 3.877. Uniform scale 8. And divisions 14. Next let's add the poly bevel. We will change the shape of our silo. So we can make this shape and also this. Let's leave default value 0.3, divisions 1, and here we selected the points. Next, let's add the match size node. In second input we connect the merge node, and the first input will connect our poly bevel. So here we'll set none. Next, let's add the convert line. And we'll convert these to the lines. Next let's add the fuse node and polyframe. Here we'll add the normals and deactivate normal name parameter. Next we'll create a lamp, first lamp. So this lamp will be on the each floor. So let's add a box. Let's change the size 1.97, 0.19 and 0.25. Next let's add the poly bevel. And we'll select manually the edges we need to bevel. So let's select this and this, and we'll hit enter. 0.09, divisions 6. Next let's add poly extrude. We'll select and this face also manually, and let's set the distance to 0.006, inset 0.25, and we'll activate the extrude front parameter. Next let's add again poly extrude. We will select the extrude front group, and distance minus 0.031. Let's add the split node. And we'll split the extrude front. So here we'll add the color node. This is the emission part, and here color, and here is the body of the lamp. Let's merge this, and we'll add the transform node, and for translate we'll set minus 2.5 and minus 0.4. Let's add copy 2 points. And we'll add the null node, and let's rename to level lamps. Now let's create the second lamps. Let's create the second lamps, and we will start with tube node. Let's add the end caps, radius scale 0.521, rows 4,6, and columns 3,2. Next, let's add transform node, and scale will set to 1.7. Next, let's add the merge node, and we'll merge with this box. So for box, let's set 0.951 and 0.2. And let's set 200 axis divisions. We will use this also as column. Let's add the boolean, and let's set here union. Next, let's add the circle. For uniform scale, we will add the scale from the circle too. So we will copy this, and here paste relative reference -1. Okay, let's set the orientation and rotate -63.35. Next, we'll add the polyframe. Set normal. Next, copy 2 points. Let's add the null node, and we'll rename to columns. And we will continue from here to create our lamps. Let's create a group. Let's activate keep by normals 48.5. Next, let's add the delete. We'll delete unselected faces. Let's select the group 11. Delete non-selected. Next, we'll add the transform node. For scale, we'll set 0.4. Next, let's add the poly extrude. For distance, we'll set 0.044, and we'll activate the output back group parameter. Next, let's add the poly bevel. Let's add the distance 0.006, and we'll activate the ignore flat edges 3.5, divisions 2. Let's add the tube node. Radius scale will set 0.5 to 1, height 0.35, and columns 1, 3. Next we'll group the front faces, so let's add group node. We'll enable keep by normals, 48 to spread the angle, and next let's add the delete node. Let's select our group, operation, select delete node selected. Next let's add the transform node, and we'll change the scale. So here 1.69, here 0.9, and here we leave 1. Next let's add the poly extrude. We'll select individual elements, 0.189. Next let's add the poly bevel. Distance will set to 0.027 and division 6. Next let's add the poly extrude node. From the transform we'll add the poly extrude, and we'll create the second element. So for the distance let's add the 0.083, inset minus 0.017, and poly bevel. For distance let's add the 0.013 and divisions 2. Let's create another element. We'll add the box node. Let's change the size, 0.1, 0.2, and 1.2. Let's move the center of our box. So here min minus 0.314 and minus 0.3. Next let's add copy node. For total copies select 3 and translate 0.3. Next let's add the poly bevel. We'll copy from here and paste here. Let's merge these elements. Here let's add minus. Okay. And to merge node we'll connect also this part. Let's copy the color, these two color nodes. Here we'll paste this part because it will be the metal, and to the emission part this. Now let's add again merge node. Okay, we fixed that. And now we have a lamp. Let's add the null node and we'll rename to the level lamp. Now let's add the object merge. And we'll move here. Next we will add match size. Let's add match size here. And to finish, let's add copy to points. Here we'll add our lamp, and here the points where copy these lamps. And we'll select here none and none. Let's add the merge node. We'll deactivate output front, and for distance let's set 0.376. Next let's add again poly extrude. For distance now we will set 0.05. Output side we will deactivate. Next let's add again poly extrude, and we'll create the floor. Let's activate front group and the distance 6. And let's activate output back group. Now again poly extrude, group extrude front, distance 0.45. Activate the side group and let's rename to side 1. Next let's create the outer stringer floor from merge. And we'll create a polygon 1 3 0 2 2 0. Okay, let's add the polyfill. Next poly extrude. Transform node. (0.411). For poly extrude let's set the distance to 0.873. Now let's add the boolean. and second input will connect the transform node, and the first input will connect to the match size. We will lower to see the intersection. Okay. We'll place in the middle. Okay, next let's add the resample node. For the length, let's set to 0.11 and convert to line. Now we need to separate this part, so let's add the bounding box. And we'll connect to translate. Let's activate the oriented bounding box, and for lower padding minus 0.5 and 1.3, upper padding 0.8, and here same 0.8. Now let's add the group node and we'll connect to the convert to line. And the second input to group node will connect our bounding box, and here let's activate keep bounding regions and bounding object, and let's set 2 points. Okay, now let's add the group expand. Base group and steps. Now let's add the delete node. Entity will select points, and here delete non-selected. Now let's add the smooth. Okay, here 60 and filter quality to 0. Maybe steps 2. Steps, let's leave to 3. Let's select here delete selected, and we will copy these parts and we'll paste here. So we have this and rails, and let's create same for the bridge. We'll copy from the bounding box, we'll duplicate, here to bounding box 09, and to delete node will operation set to delete non-selected, and we need to delete this part. We will activate the preview for our box. Upper padding, let's lower a bit the value. So let's leave to minus 1.3. And here we have the same. Okay. Let's add here the null node and we'll rename to outer stringer bridge, and in this part we'll rename add null node and we'll rename to outer stringer floor. Let's merge this. And this for preview. Okay, we'll adjust this. So we can do from group expand. Okay, it's fine. And let's connect our floor. So this part here. And from here we can change the scale of our silo. Here the shape. Let's leave to 20. Now lamps will move here. Because we will use these lamps to next levels. So let's combine these two parts of the silo. Okay, let's color this. Now we see that we have the bridge, and we'll create between the stairs and bridge, we'll create another part to combine it together. So let's combine these parts, and after that we'll create this small part. So let's add merge node. This will disconnect the handrail, and we'll add the color and boolean node. Let's copy, and here we'll add the color and boolean. Okay, now we will connect to the merge. Here we will connect also the lamps. And let's add the object merge. So for the object merge, we'll add all the handrails here. And we will connect the merge. Let's add the null and we'll rename to the level 1. Now let's create this part, and we will start from copy to points node. So here let's add carve node and same to second copy to points. Now let's move this here. Let's activate second view, and here 0.08 for second curve, same. We'll add 0.08, and for both we'll add these nodes. We'll add the outer stringer bridge and handrails nodes. So one connect here and one here. Here it's okay. Okay. And we'll add the reverse node, but first let's merge them. And here. Okay, we need to reverse this. So let's add the reverse and we'll connect. Let's add more lines here. Let's add resample node here. And we'll set to 1.25. Same here. Resample node. We connect all the nodes, and here let's add 1.25. Now let's add here, let's add transform node. And for translate, let's add minus 0.16. It's okay. Now let's lower and the handrails so we can create reference copy, and we will paste here. Copy this and paste here. Let's check. This let's delete handrails, and we will insert here to the object merge. Let's add boolean and color. And at the final, let's add the null node and we'll rename to stringer bridge, outer stringer bridge. Let's connect the stairs for preview. And let's create the central pylon. We'll add a tube and match size. Here we can add our tube. Here let's add the object merge. And in the object merge we'll add our stairs. Okay, for the tube let's set a radius 1.1, rows and columns, rows 50, columns 81. For the match size node, scale to fit, and we'll deactivate scale X and Z. Now let's preview our silo. For the stairs, let's add also the color. Next, we will start to create the second level. So we will start from merge node. So this box, let's add transform node. And also we need to add the curve node from the spiral. So from here we'll add the curve node. We'll move here. So for the curve node, let's set 0.1323. Again, we'll add the curve node, but now we will cut from the up. Let's activate second U, and here we'll add 0.2606. And this is a start. From here our second bridge will start. So here we need to copy the box, this box. So let's reverse. Let's add the sort node. And we'll select reverse. Next, let's add the copied points. Here we'll add the points, and here our box, and now here we'll add the 0. Now let's correct the position for our box, and here let's add 7.49, next 24.4271, and here 7.9962. Next, let's add the match size. Here we'll add max, here minimum. Here let's add the 0.787, and here minus 0.245. Next, let's add the split node, and here we select line 1. Next, let's create the exterior spiral. So we'll add the object merge node, and here we'll put the exterior spiral. Next, let's add the curve node. For first U parameter, we'll set 0.1329. Next, curve node, we'll activate the second U parameter, and we'll add the following value, 0.2606. Here is the end of the first bridge, and here is the start for the second bridge. Next, we'll create the outer stringer. So we need just to copy the previous node. So let's copy these nodes. Without curve node. So we'll copy this and this. and we'll paste here. Let's add the merge node. We'll connect here level 1. And stairs. Okay, now we need to preview the water stringer from the level 2. Let's connect the handrail. So let's adjust here the distance. Now we will create these parts. So let's add the carve node. We'll start that carve node from here. So we will leave only just this section. Here let's add 0.952. Let's copy the expression from here. Let's copy all this part. So here we'll connect the line 1. Let's delete this. For first U we'll add and for second U 0.628. So we see now we have the right turn. Okay, we have the right turn. Let's make the left turn. From the carve node we need all this spiral. So from here we'll add the carve node and we will cut this. We will cut this here and here, so we'll leave just this section. So let's add for first U parameter here 305 and for the second U parameter 0.318. Again, let's copy the group expression and we'll paste here. So we have grouped the first point. Now let's add the delete node and we'll select line 2 and delete node selected. Next let's add the carve node and we'll leave just this part of the line. So let's add the curve node, group node, and the merge. These parts will leave, and after that we'll connect. So for the curve node we will set 0.394. Let's activate the second U parameter, and here 0.654. Let's group here 0.1 points, here 1. Now we'll merge this. Next let's add node, and we'll combine these two lines by group. Let's add group 1, and here we'll rename to group 1. So now it's connected. Let's add the resample node, 0.12. Let's add the fuse node. Next let's add the smooth node, and we'll set here 50. Next we need to copy the outer stringer nodes and handrails, so we will paste here. So we have the left turn. Let's copy again nodes, and we'll paste here, but before that let's make some space. Now let's connect to the merge node, and we have the left turn. We can adjust the length. Okay. So I will leave at these values. Let's copy these nodes, and we'll paste here. And here. Let's add the color node and so let's delete this for now. And we'll add the merge node. We'll connect this outer stringer, this, here we'll add the boolean and color. So let's start to create the bridge. We'll start from carve node from here and we'll add the polyframe. Let's move here, and the next polyframe we'll add from this node. Let's add here normal, deactivate here, here deactivate, and here normal. Next, let's add the line. Length let's set to 10, and the direction here is 0, here 1, and here 0. Okay, now we will add copy to points. So let's connect in the second input the polyframe node, and in the first input we'll connect our line. Let's merge these lines. Now we'll create level lamps, so we need just to copy from the previous level, and we'll copy this, so we'll copy this section and we'll paste here. So level 2 lamps, and we'll check. It's okay. Level floor, also it's okay. Now let's create the outer stringer floor. So for this we need for this part and this and this. Let's copy and we'll paste here. From the merge node we'll connect to the add, and the boolean will connect to the match size. Here we need to add 0, and here same on the 0, so let's add 0 here. Now let's check. Okay, boolean, let's check the distance, also it's okay. Let's change the size of the bounding box. Here we will group just this part, so in this case we need to group this and this and this, same how we did in the last level. Now we see here the result. So next let's copy the outer stringer nodes. And we will paste here. This here and this here. Next, this we delete all nodes here. Let's add the merge node. Let's connect the level lamps, outer stringer floor, and the outer stringer bridge. Let's add another merge node and we'll connect floor and bridge here. Let's add the color blue. We'll paste boolean here. And here let's connect the outer string from stairs. Next, let's make this part. From copy to points, let's add the carve node. And from the second copy to points, another carve node. Let's move this here. Here let's activate the second view. Let's add the value 0.145. And here same, we'll activate the second view and we'll add the value 0.117. Next we'll copy this part and we'll paste here and we'll move our inputs here. So we have this. Let's delete this part. Let's add to second curve node same nodes. Now we'll add the merge node. And let's connect here. Now we'll move to the carve node and let's adjust the length here. And here. Let's add the reverse node. For handrails, let's add the Resample node. For the length parameter, let's set 0.125 and let's connect the handrail. Let's copy this and paste here. Let's try to close this gap. 0.7 and after reverse poly extrude node. Okay, gap is closed. And let's add here output front and same to this node. Okay, now we'll add the boolean and color. And we'll add the new node outer stringer bridge. Next, let's copy the color node and let's add here object merge and color. And let's add here all handrails. Let's delete these transform nodes and this. Okay, let's try to fix this part. Here let's add Group expand. And here we'll try to fix from bounding box. Okay, this also we need to delete. Transform node. Let's add null node and I will rename to level 2. Level 2. Let's add the merge node and connect level 1. Level 2. Stairs. Let's start to create the next level. So we'll try to copy entire level and we'll duplicate. Here we'll add 0.3843. Next curve node 0.381. For the sort we leave reverse. For transform here 19.138. Here 3.4263. Here 1107.3. Next for match size. Here we'll add 1.317 minus 0.327. Next we'll move here to this curve node and we'll connect this here. And let's set cap outside, second U 0.318. So we here at the start, and let's add the end. So here we'll leave keep inside, and for the second U parameter we'll set 0.366. And here will be the start for the next bridge. For this curve node let's set 0.99 for this 0.293, and for the second U 0.534. So next, let's set up this curve node. For the first U, we'll set 0.416. Let's add another curve node. We'll deactivate second U, and let's add another curve node, and we'll activate second U, and here let's add 0.035. We'll set this curve node, so here we'll add 0.294, and here 0.616. Next, merge add smooth. It's okay. Here, merge add smooth. Next, let's check this. Here it's okay, and bridge. For bridge. Okay, let's fix that part. And that. Here let's add the transform node. And we'll copy this. Let's check. So let's paste here. Here. This will delete. Okay, this is fine. will connect to the merge node. So next, let's create this part of the outer stringer. From here, we will add a carve node. And let's preview this part. And we need to start from here. So let's find the start here. Next, we'll copy this and this. And we'll paste here. Let's rename to the outer stringer end. And we'll connect here to the merge node. So at the end, we'll add the output node. Next, let's mark the node where we can make some changes. So here we need this cycle node. Let's mark with red. And from here we can change the scale. So let's copy this parameter and we'll find here the circle, paste relative reference, and here paste relative reference. So here we can change the radius. Let's change the copy parameter. Let's find the next cycle. Let's mark with paste relative reference here. Now we'll just copy this part. So let's add copy. Let's connect this here. This outer stringer end and this part. So we have a big silo.